Three men messed with Granny at the ATM. Find out their story here. Before we proceed, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this channel by clicking the bell icon. We guarantee you more amazing videos in the future. Also, don't forget to hit like! It's no secret that we live in a society full of bad people with bad intentions. These people usually target the weak and the most vulnerable, such as the elderly. They prey on them thinking that they are not strong enough to defend themselves. This story we are about to tell you is about a grandmother who will remind us to think twice before passing judgment on a person. Winnifred was spending her day just like any other normal day in her life. She went out to do some errands and check out some stores. She had no idea that this day would be different. While she was trying to withdraw cash from an ATM, she noticed some people behind her. She knew instantly that they meant harm against her, and her intuition did not fail her. Three young men surfaced from behind, obviously with bad intentions. These punks had no idea that this granny was about to give them the shock of their lives. This incident took place in a peaceful British town, and its residents were just about to witness a story that would be the talk of the town for quite some time. This grandmother, Winnifred Peel, was 77 years old from Liverpool. She wanted to live a quiet and relaxed life. Despite her age, Winnifred made it a point to stay active. Unknowingly, on this day, her limits would be put to the test. The weather was typically frosty, like it usually is in England, which called for Winnifred to suit up in layers. It could get really freezing cold outside. On a typical day like this, Winnifred has a habit of grabbing her favorite tea and dessert at a local coffee shop. It was her way of warming up on a chilly day. As she was walking around, she noticed three men and shrugged it off. Winnifred, or Winnie, is a woman who enjoys a very active lifestyle. She's capable of doing things that a man usually does, like repairing and building. She's also into gardening. Unlike many women, she possessed various skills. These skills she never realized would be valuable in saving her own life. Luckily, she had these skills because she was just about to make it to the headlines. These skills, coupled with an alert mind and agility, would salvage her. It suddenly came to her mind that the birthday of her best friend's daughter was coming up. She took this opportunity to look for a gift for the girl. She entered a local shop to check some nice clothes there. She wasn't disappointed as she found some nice things to gift to the girl. When she took out her purse to pay the cashier, she found out that her cash was not enough. She tucked the items first in one corner before heading out to the ATM nearby. It didn't take her long to see that the three men have already cornered her. She kept her composure and took a deep breath while mentally planning her next course of action. When it was finally her turn to use the machine, she knew someone was observing her. Looking at the man's reflection on the ATM screen, she thought that maybe this was just some random, ill-mannered man who didn't know much about rules of personal space. She entered her PIN and went on doing the transaction. And then it happened so quickly, her vision gradually disappearing. Before she could think of anything, she saw herself halfway down the ground. With an adrenaline rush kicking in, she managed to get back up in an instant. She would never allow this man to take her money. It's not going to happen. She acted so quickly, fighting back the men, leaving these punks startled and unable to move. She wasted no time, grabbed one of the criminals by the head, and slammed it against the wall with all her might. Shocked as they were, the burglars hurried to flee the scene. A few minutes later, Winnie realized that these were the same men she saw arguing on the sidewalk. When Winnie got back to her senses, she tried to understand what just happened. She couldn't help thinking, what if these men had a weapon and killed her? It was highly possible that the worst could have happened if not for her skills. Having these thoughts, Winnie started to tremble. We could not hide our admiration for what Winnie had done to these bad people, showing them her strength and scaring them away. We are only glad that she managed to get out of the situation alive. Good thing she only suffered from minor bruises from this unfortunate incident. Winnie also wished these delinquents would be caught. After the incident, a crowd gathered around Winnie. They wanted to see if she was doing all right. Understandably, she was in a lot of stress. But all she could think of at the moment was that she wanted the men to be arrested, and she wanted the people to help in this effort. Some civilians tried to follow the criminals, but they were able to escape. The police was doing its job, hunting them. Trying to digest the incident, everyone was left in awe of how strong Winnie was even in her twilight years. People were wondering how she managed to injure a young man. Winnie later admitted that she exercises a lot to keep fit and active, and she was very happy that she chose to live life that way, and she was able to use her skills in self-defense. This story has a great ending, not only because justice prevailed, but also because Winnie became a local hero. The men were arrested on the street. One of them would forever be reminded of Winnie's heroic act because of the scar on his head, which of course was caused by Winnie. They were brought to the police station to receive their sentences for their offenses. All of them were found guilty later and would serve some time in prison. The judge made sure that they would pay for what they did to Winnie. Winnie said she was glad to have been the victim of this crime and not some other person who would not have been able to defend themselves. Winnie is now enjoying a celebrity status in her own town, having earned the identity as the granny who sent 3 men in jail for trying to mess with her at the ATM. It's a reality that the incident could have been way worse, but we're just so glad to hear that the perpetrators were jailed and that Winnie's life was spared. Winnie is now back to living her old life, doing what she loves the most, getting active. Did you learn something from our story today? Don't forget to comment it down below and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.